Should the buyer get an appraisal? Great question. If the buyer is using a lender, the lender is 9 times out of 10 going to require an appraisal. So that's the answer to the question, if the buyer is using a lender. If the buyer is paying cash, the buyer does not have to get an appraisal. However, it is highly recommended that a buyer does get an appraisal. 2 reasons. Number 1, the buyer wants to make sure that they're paying a fair price for the house, that they're not overpaying. Sometimes you'll find out that through the appraisal, the buyer's actually underpaying for the house. That's even better. But the second, and really the thing that I see the most in my title exam or in the case law that I research, is the buyer needs to know what is the square footage of the house. Why is that important? Shouldn't the seller know what the square footage of the house is? Shouldn't the listing agent know what the square footage of the house is? Sometimes they do. Oftentimes, all they're doing is looking at the previous MLS disclosure to see what was listed as the square footage, and they're just copying that. Most of the time, that's accurate, or relatively accurate. Sometimes it's not even close. What an appraisal will do, not only will it tell you the value of the home, but it will also give you a square footage of the house. That way you can make sure as the buyer that you are paying the proper price per square foot for that piece of property. And that's why you should get an appraisal of the house.